Yes, everyone, how are we doing? And welcome to the post-match reaction for Manchester City 3, Manchester United 1. Manchester is blue. What a game of football that was yesterday. What a game of football. Manchester City absolutely battered United. They couldn't lay a glove on us. 3-1 was the scoreline, but realistically, this could have so easily been a 6-1, 7-1 game to Man City. There were some disastrous moments in the game that had you pulling your hair out. There were some beautiful moments during the game that had 50,000 City fans doing the Poznan in the Etihad Stadium. It was a game of magic. Let's talk about it in chronological order. And we're doing that. Where else can we start than that Marcus Rashford screamer that put United 1-0 up? Unbelievable goal. Where on earth has he pulled that one out from? This season he's been shocking. One of United's worst players, one of the worst players on form in the Premier League. He can hardly kick a ball straight in a minute. He can't help himself but getting pissed up in Dublin midweek. And he pulled that one out, and it was so annoying because it actually irritated me watching him for the rest of the game because he's just scored a world-class goal, one of the best goals of his career. Unbelievable, top bins, first time. What a strike. And then he went and played like that for the rest of the game. I just stood there throughout the game watching it and getting more and more annoyed about how poor Rashford was, because how have we let someone that shite score a goal that good? You just felt when that goal hit the back of the net, the feeling in the Etihad, it just drops. We were stunned. I was stunned. City fans were stunned. Rashford was stunned so much to the point where he couldn't believe it himself. He decided to take the rest of the game off. He was shocked. But that first half by City wasn't great. It wasn't a good first half. We were on top of United. United, they might feel like they were decent. They were better in the first half than the second half. But I don't think that was necessarily them performing well. I just think City just weren't. We weren't clicking. It weren't happening for us. I still feel like City should have been ahead going into half-time. There was a good chance that Phil Foden had where I feel like he just overthought it, tried doing too much. If he just took that early and used his left foot, he'd have put it past Onana with ease. Onana's shocking. Do you know what I'm saying? I think Phil Foden had the beating of him, but he just overthought it. It was a poor decision at the time. But more importantly, that Erling Haaland miss at the end of the first half. What on earth was that? You think of a man who's so deadly in front of goal. He scored 50-odd goals last season. He's still currently the top scorer in the league this season. He scored some fantastic goals for us lately. He's back in the form of things. Goals against Everton, goals against Brentford. I fancied him to score today. Last time we played him at the Etihad, he got a hat-trick. And he did out of his end up getting on the score sheet. But that was a shocking miss. Not only one of the worst misses I've seen from a City player, one of the worst misses I've ever seen in my entire life. He was 3 yards out. It was perfect level for him. Whether he wants to get his knee on it, his chest, duck and get a header on it. He just has to get decent contact. And he skied it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I think it was really, really, really poor from him. And he knew it. He'll have known it himself. You've seen Rodgers' reaction after it, punching shit out of the floor. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. You'd have put your house on, you put your life on Erling Haaland to score there. You'd probably rather him than anyone in the entire world in that position with his goal scoring record, but that was just really, really poor for him. And then we get into half time, and I was feeling a little bit stressed, not necessarily the fact that I thought United were a threat to us. United aren't. United are shite. They were terrible. That was one of the worst performances I've seen from United in a long while. They were awful. They couldn't lay a glove on us. They didn't have a chance all game. That Rashford goal was unbelievable. It was a moment, one small moment of brilliance, but that wasn't a chance for United. That was a pot shot from 30 yards out. If that goes over the bar and it's put wide, what's the XG on that? 0.01? That ain't a chance. They had nothing. United had nothing to offer all game, and I knew that. They've had nothing really to offer all season, but I was just worried that City were going to let ourselves down. I thought, is it just one of them days? It's derby day. The pressure's on. I felt like it just weren't happening. Haaland misses chances like that. That doesn't happen. But when that second half whistle blown, 5 minutes into that half, I knew that we were winning this game. There wasn't a doubt in my mind. Things were just different. Doku, who I thought had a pretty poor first half, his runs were working. He was getting the better of his man. Phil Foden just came into his own. Even first 5-10 minutes, the football was liquidating. The football was moving nicely. It was moving smoothly. Man City were on top of Manchester United, more dominant than they were in the first half. And then look, not long into that second half, Phil Foden pulls out a worlder. An unbelievable finish by Foden. Top corner. Unreal. Phil Foden, a man this is 18 goals, 10 assists in all competitions at the minute. He's City's best player in the minute. For me, I don't think there's a better player in world football on current form. Phil Foden is in a league of his own at the moment, and that goal was better than Rashford's in my opinion. Look, Rashford's was unbelievable, and I didn't expect Rashford to do anything like that. So I wouldn't have put money on Rashford to have a shot on target. He's playing that poor at the minute. But Foden, for me, I think the technique was better. It just looked better. It was a sexy goal, flying into that top corner, the curve on it, the equaliser from Foden, the sniper. It's just what he does. He's on fire at the moment. I've seen people, mainly United fans, complaining at the fact that that goal should have been ruled out because of apparent Walker foul on Marcus Rashford. It'd be pathetic, absolutely embarrassing if VAR would have called that off. I didn't see VAR checking the stadium. Maybe there was on Sky Sports, but they didn't show it inside the stadium. But that would have been embarrassing to call that a foul. He hardly touched him. I've seen Ten Hag going wild on the sidelines, and then I've seen his comments after the game where he says, yeah, there was contact, but it was soft. If even Ten Hag's admitting it after getting booked, clear as day, that is never, ever, ever a foul. The game's gone if they're going to give that as a foul. It was unbelievable by Walker, the pace to keep up with Rashford. He was just stronger than him. You know, Rashford was soft, Walker was strong. He got the better of him. City break, Phil Foden scores. What more do you want? That was perfect from City, a perfectly legal move and unbelievable stuff by Foden. Look, following that Phil Foden goal, it was just annihilation by City. It was a mauling of Manchester United. We absolutely battered them. We were in total control. You know, United didn't want it. They looked scared. The back line looked scared. Johnny Evans, shocking. Varane, shocking. Onana, terrified to be on the ball. You know, I don't understand why they got rid of David De Gea. He was a decent shot stopper. So was Onana. I'd probably argue De Gea is a better shot stopper than Onana. I think most United fans would agree. But the reason, understandably, for getting rid of David De Gea was because he wasn't good with his feet. Now, if you're going to bring in a decent goalkeeper with a ball at the feet, that would have made sense. But they've not. Onana was terrified today. You know, any time that Foden or Haaland or Bernardo Silva started pressing him, he'd be kicking the ball out for a throw-in and flapping it. If he's going to try out play out from the back and hit his midfield, which, by the way, was dominated by one man, Rodri midfield today, alone, right? Because Bernardo was obviously high up, Foden was high up, De Bruyne was pushing high. Rodri, realistically, a lot of the time at the midfield, he was alone in there. United had Scott McTominay, Casemiro, Kobe Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, and Rodri single-handedly owned all four of them, bossed all four of them. None of them were in the game. Now, I've been hearing all this talk about Kobe Mainoo. He's stunk the gaff out today. And to be fair to him, he's 17 years old or whatever, so you're not going to expect him to take, you know, leadership. You know, you've got experienced players, Champions League winners like Casemiro there, Bruno Fernandes, who he's been playing football at the highest level for years. You know, they should be helping Kobe, not the other way, but, you know, Rodri single-handedly controlled all of them. But Onana, when he was trying to hit that midfield, it was intercepted every time. Now, you could argue both ways, you know, are United's midfield sloppy and they should be meeting the ball earlier? Yeah, on one hand, but on the other hand, Onana's passing was terrible. You don't see that from Ederson. You don't see, very rarely anyway do you see Ederson misplace a pass like that. The power he puts in his pass, Onana, it was gentle, it was soft, a bit like his performance, just soft in general. He was really, really poor. Yeah, he made a decent save in the first half of Rodri, but other than that, what else did he do? You know, Phil Foden scored twice past him. Erling Haaland, he scored past him. He's shite. That's the simple way of putting it. Onana is not good enough to be Manchester United's keeper. Manchester City's second goal, Phil Foden's second goal, was a work of art. It was some beautiful football, well played. Ball played through to Phil Foden on his left foot, hit it across the goalkeeper. You could argue Onana's doing, you know, should do better with that. I don't think so. I thought it was a perfect finish by Phil Foden, and it was an important goal at the timing as well, 2-1, because yes, City was in control, but it was still 1-1 for a long period of the game, you know. United, the scruffy bastards, they could have so easily hung on to that, couldn't they? And look, we get into additional time, and the board is held up 8 minutes to stoppage time. Where they got that from, I'm not sure. I think they were still counting over Onana's time wasting from the first half. Very embarrassing. But I was quite happy with it. You know, I know it was only one goal ahead, and it's a derby, anything can happen. You know, Rashford might pull one of them out again. But I was happy with it. You know, I'd have enjoyed it in 18 minutes. I felt like a goal was coming, and that's exactly what it was. We pounced on a Manchester United mistake. Amrabat, the guy that everyone was so desperate, all the United fans, you know, the Glazers this, the Glazers that, Glazers stay in 10 more years. Da, 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 da. But they're really on about the Glazers now. Oh, they've waited so long to get Amrabat. They've waited so long to get him. Oh, they've only done him on a loan deal. I don't think United will want to make that loan deal permanent. Maybe that's a good bit of business by the Glazers, because I've not seen a good bit of play by Amrabat since he's joined United. He makes the mistake. I mean, you could argue once again you put a little bit of blame on Onana, you know. But yeah, Amrabat makes a mistake. Rodri picks it up, plays Haaland through, and Haaland gets the goal, the icing on the top of the cake. The beautiful finish by Haaland, that strong left foot. And I was happy for him because, yeah, the 3 points was all we needed just to beat Manchester United is good enough. But I feel like Haaland would have needed that goal, especially after after that miss in the first half, I think it sort of shuts up any criticism that you could have potentially got, because this is the good thing with Haaland, you know. Yeah, he might miss a chance like that. I hope he never does again. But he might miss an opportunity like that, but he'll get enough opportunities, and he's a good enough finisher that he can make a few clangers during the game and still get 2 or 3 goals. You know, I know he didn't get 2 or 3 today, but he could have. You know, he's a top striker, and I'm in love with him. Not only just for his goal scoring ability, for him joining in with the Poznan. I didn't see it while I was actually the game because I was doing the Poznan, but I've seen it since. Erling Haaland stood there giving it all out after the game. I absolutely love that man. He's one of us. Phil Foden's one of us. This is the beautiful thing with this team. They're young. They're grown-up City fans, a lot of them. And it's clear to see they're loving life. I'm loving life watching them. And look, there we have it. That's a massive, massive, massive win for City. The comeback against United, which, look, clearly is quite a hard thing to do because we've broke their record now at last. Man City today put an end to Manchester United's 143-game unbeaten streak after going into the second half winning at half-time. At last it's over, because every single time, even if it's a big game, small game, whenever I'm watching United and Sky, we pull up that stat if United are winning at half-time, and I'm sick of seeing it, and at last we've put it to a end. The pleasure that of us doing it to them as well. I was sick of seeing that stat. So there you go. I didn't even think about that when you were up at half-time, otherwise I might have been a little bit more worried. But over 143-game unbeaten streak, suck on that tonight, it's gone. Another stat I seen after the game is that Rodri has set the record for the longest unbeaten streak by a Premier League player in all competitions. He's now 59 games unbeaten, and long may that continue, especially next Sunday. And like I said before, Rodri had an exceptional game of football, you know, not only just for his 2 assists, but the way he dominated United. Their lineup was so defensive. As I said it in the matchday vlog ahead of the game, I looked at the lineup and thought, what on earth is that? They've got 2 wingers in Rashford and Garnacho. They don't have a striker. I guess they were sort of playing Rashford up front, but he didn't really play like it. He didn't really play after 10 minutes. But it was so defensive, so heavy in midfield, and Rodri, he had them all to himself. He made every single one of them look stupid. I've seen Pep's post-match press conference after the game where they asked him about Phil Foden and is he the best player in the league right now? And he said, yeah. Like I said before, for me, I don't think there's a better player in world football on current form. Phil Foden, not only has he been City's player of the season so far, he's comfortably been the Premier League's best player of the season so far. He's stepped up. All that time when De Bruyne was out injured, he stepped up. We called upon him. Stop put zone. Manchester's made. You know, Man City born and bred. He's rose with his club, whether it's, you know, being a ball boy at 8 years old to scoring a hat-trick against United last season, scoring a brace against United this season. Wow, what a player. And even when De Bruyne returned, you know, we were saying, are we going to see that same level of form with, because he was doing so well in the middle without De Bruyne there, and I still think that's his best position, but I seen him in the middle today. I seen him on the left. I seen him on the right. He scored from the right and he scored from the left. And his best work was in the middle. He's everywhere. He's magic. Phil Foden, he's one of our own. What a performance. The best player in the world. I've seen a few tweets going about as well, talking about empty seats. The cheek of it from some of these United fans. The only time there are empty seats at Manchester City's ground is when yous turn up. We've seen it 2 seasons ago when we beat us 4-1 at home. We've seen it last season when we beat you 6-3 at home. We've seen it this season. As soon as that 3rd goal went in, there was a fire drill in that away end. They could, at least to be fair to them, fair play. You know, their away support was pretty poor in my opinion. Even going ahead in the Manchester derby, you've witnessed one of your homegrown players score a screamer against the local rivals, and the support wasn't all that. You know what I'm saying? We still drowned them out. But fair play to you, it's the longest you've stayed in the past few years. But talk about empty seats. The only empty seats we see at the Etihad Stadium is when you turn up and it's in that away end. You embarrassing lot. I said ahead of the game that I wanted to witness the death of Manchester United, and to be honest, I think that's exactly what we saw today. We absolutely battered them. 27 shots to their 3, 8 shots on target to their 1. I mean, we had more shots than they did possession the entire game. If that isn't embarrassing, I don't know what is. Manchester United have been put back in the place today. The golfing quality between the 2 teams is massive. I don't think it's ever been better. City are 10 times the team United are. So much for the biggest club in the world. You're an embarrassment. Your fans are an embarrassment. We're the pride of Manchester. Manchester's blue. What a day it's been. I don't think there's a better place to end than there. Manchester's blue. We're the pride of Manchester. Thank you for watching and subscribe to the channel. Come on, you blue boys. City, tear the counties apart again.